Hello, everyone from across the internet. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer League Open Playoffs. Coming out of the Castle Tower Division today, we have the last locationers versus yet another bonk. And we got Coxla versus Structural Mike. Both teams did very well in the regular season. Last locationers taking the division at 12-2, while yet another bonk came in at 10-4. Both of these races went 6-1 during the regular season, so I expect to see a very, very, very good matchup here today as we are playing in Rosia. Now, for those that don't know, in Rosia, as they're getting underway, in Rosia is inverted 7-7, Big Keisha Shuffle, a sure sword. The GT Bicky will be a GT, however, and every boss has some kind of non-dungeon item. So can't be map, compass, or a key. We get a look at the map check there. It's green pendant over at Thieves Town. But yeah, Rome's a very, very unique mode, something you don't see very often. But at least you can we see a Vicky there at the bumper ledge already, so we're probably gonna need that cape sometime. And the mirror. You see a normal starting route here in inverted as you go into the Skull Woods here. You can farm bomb. Ends up finding the gloves. So wait, am I on now? There we go. Hello, I'm back. Not sure what happened there. All right, we are moving on. You got a mushroom there in the C-shaped house. As see a normal play here. Farming money, go to the arrow game. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. How's everyone doing today? I'm back. Yes.
Captain's back and I'm here too. Like
Hey.
you were saying, pretty standard way to get money early in those inverted seeds is to use the arrow game here.
All right. I am no longer solo. Yay. Uh, How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Hope you're doing well, Captain. Really excited to A, see some playoff action, and B, Inverosia is just a fun version. So really looking forward to seeing that too.
Yeah, it's a mode you don't see very often, but it's a lot of fun to watch actually. So, hey, oh, taking those early rubies, checking out the digging game here. And in case you missed it, we have Titan's Smith's knowledge already, as there is a glove in Skull Woods and one in Hype Cave.
That's insanely early Mitts knowledge, which is really fun.
There's our
Hopefully,
first bottle.
yeah. And like Trey's pointing out in chat, if we have knowledge of both gloves, if we get that early pearl, we could see wild divergence here early in the seed, which is a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, yep. Okay, Mike's got his 20 rupees. Gonna head over here to the arrow game. Uh, get some money.
Yep, I'm sure you already covered it, Captain, but like we were saying, really early in these inverted seeds, first you want bombs, then you want some cash.
Yep, both runners dipping in the Skull Woods to get those bombs. They're pretty quick for that drop down spot.
Yep, and both runners showing off, if you are new here, both runners showing off in the arrow game. If you just sort of hug the NPC here and fire right as those targets reach the gap between the second and the third curtain, pretty much guaranteed to hit all five.
There's the cape. And we did see a big key on bumper ledge today, but we're also going to need the mirror for that.
Yeah, should be. I mean, obviously, it's a couple of big keys that you don't necessarily need, unless, of course, the item is in the big chest. So runners could be hoping for that, but of course, with inverted, not much open at the start. With those flippers, we could see a wild play over to, check that first chest in pod. With the glove, we can get to catfish. So if the hook shot shows up early, I don't know. That's not much because we already have this side of Dark World access. What do you think our next bit of progression is going to be, Captain?
Hmm. I mean, yeah. Like, where else could we possibly go? I mean, yeah, they could possibly get in the pod. I guess maybe if they got the glove in hand. They can check out, like, they can get up to pyramid and catfish. So yeah, this will be a hype cave here. So Mike will get his mitts here, and probably gonna head into the Kakariko from here.
Yep, still need that moon pearl if they want to get into the
Oh,
light world.
well, they
I,
could check
I
sick kit. They could check sick kit. It could have the boot.
that is true. If you're looking for one of those crazy plays that can only happen in a wild seed like this, you can talk to NPCs in bunny form. If you're cursing us already, Captain, with a moon pearl on sick kid,
Hey,
I'm here for it. I just want to say.
who doesn't want to see a moon bronze sick kit? Come on.
But it looks like Mike is going to go ahead, use those flippers, hop over here, can check catfish, can check that pyramid ledge, and at this point, one chest in pod minimum. But if this is all we really have left, it's not a bad play. It's obviously the play that needs to happen, other than what you're hoping for, Captain, and obviously what Twitch chat usually hopes for, which is, of course, Sick Kid Moon Pearl.
There's our catfish check. So we get the goods. Eh, we'll, we'll
We'll
take
let Twitch chat decide if that's the goods or not.
we'll take a studying device. Yeah.
Yeah, it never hurts to have a stun prize, especially when you're forced into this early of a dark world. You know, it could be hearts on that stun drop, which could save you. That's the joys of an inverted seed is you're forced into this early dark world where the enemies just hit like a truck. And of course the game's like, oh, you should have 7 hearts by now, and we in the randomizer community say, nope, you have 3.
There is Coxla's Spits. Let's see what they decide to do from here. And just go ahead and take that there. We're gonna get a look at the pyramid item.
Yeah, we're running real low on locations here. So it's,
there it is.
Yay! Sorry, Captain. Your sick kid is in another castle.
All right. Well, we got a lot more stuff to do now.
Oh yeah, not gonna worry about that one check-in pod yet. But here goes Coxla. Gonna go ahead. Remember, oh wait, this is inverted. This cave doesn't actually lead up there.
Oh yeah.
I think anyone who's played an inverted seed has made that mistake.
Yeah, and another thing is that Agate Tower and Ganon's Tower are swapped in inverted too. So yeah, as soon as you go up the mountain, Ganon's Tower will be open, but it's not actually Ganon's Tower. It's Castle Tower. Yeah.
Yep, couple of other interesting nuances to an inverted seed. There's a couple of locations that have had to be changed around just for how the mirror works in inverted and being able to get to them. So things like the floating island have a bridge to it now. Actually, Lake Hylia Island has a ladder leading to it. The Bombos Tablet has a ladder leading to it. Checkerboard Cave is just available. So a couple of those locations that you really have to get used to in those inverted modes, knowing what you can and cannot check.
Yep, and Graveyard Ledge, you can just walk up to it as well. So, it's one of those. So, okay, first look at Kakariko here. We're in the well. Here's the health.
And we are double boomeranged, so all of Twitch is happy. We have the best boomerang no matter how you look at it. Really nice to see that extra defense too, only being on, the 5 hearts for now. That blue mail and those hearts are really going to help out.
So a quick look at the stun price there on Coxla side. It is a bomb. So wow, we found a master sword here at Blinds Up too. So. And the first big key to Eastern Palace. Okay.
Yep, and that Cane of Burna, so if you run out of arrows or mismanage that somehow on your way back to Armos and not pick up all those pots, you have an easy way to take care of the knights. Really just the Master Sword for... Oh, there we go. Hookshot, now we have some stuff to do. Kakariko, Master Sword hookshot so far, and like we were saying, depending how you look at it, a boomerang.
Here's the sick kid check. It's a mood pearl. Oh, no, it's red.
We'll give it to you. finishing out Kakariko with another full heart. So, I mean, not bad. Kakariko got our Master Sword, got that hook shot. You know, couple of rupees from Sick Kid, and then some mail and some hearts. So feeling a little more confident now. Both offense and defense have increased thanks to Kakariko.
Yeah, that makes sense. Since you're in the light world, you want all the defense, right? Wait, it's backwards. Uh,
Yep. So Coxla coming in, gonna do CAC from south to north. It looks like. Nice. All right. I'm here for it. And there's another one of those changes on Mike's side, just being able to come into Cave 45 here, walking right through with a nice, subtle little nod there to V-Torp in the grass.
I think Coxla's routed this way so he can check Lost Woods afterwards. So
Makes sense. If you already have that route in your head, you want to stick to it. So wanting to check Lost Woods after this, it totally makes sense.
there you see the ladder that leads up to the Bobo's tablet. Don't have to worry about the mirror, just need the book. So we're gonna look at Agita's cave here.
Yep, and one of the changes there, of course, with inverted, you can't mirror into desert. So if desert is a crystal, that book is going to be hard required to get into desert. But as you can see on the tracker, there's just one pendant to worry about in the light world, so it may not be desert.
Yeah, it's really weird because the flute technically not required for anything.
Yep, and go ahead, sir.
Numbers checkerboard games just a hard piece though.
Yep, just some pieces of heart here in the desert area so far. But another funny thing about that flute you were talking about, Captain, is of course you need to activate it in the light world, but you have to use it in the dark world. So again, one of those concessions being made in order to make inverted a thing. But Mike really making this, traditional light world loop work out with those inverted changes, being able to check a few extra things, just doing the long loop. Yeah, it stinks to walk the whole thing, but really getting a lot of good checks out of the way.
There is a map check. I missed it. It was too quick.
Yep, I think I saw a pendant on Eastern. I'm going to check it again on the restream here. Yep, pendant on Eastern with a 5-6 up at Hera. And of course, Desert being the other 5-6 as well.
So we have one big key to a pendant. Cool.
Yay.
Ooh,
All right, our offense is very increased now.
Oh, there's the blue and the mirror. Ooh.
Like you were saying, Captain, two things that in inverted aren't quite as powerful as they used to be, but obviously that mirror is still going to make routing a heck of a lot better. And yeah, I think Mike realizing maybe I should go activate this flute.
Just gonna take a look at Lake Hylia Island here. Just swim up to it, see what it is. Just bombs today. We'll take them though. We only got 5. Oh, just kidding. We do find another big key there in Lost Woods.
It's to another pendant.
Neat.
Why do we play this game, Captain?
I don't know. get a look at the lumberjack ledge here. Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh
Well,
boy. I think we need that.
you know, it's kind of required to get to the back of Skullwoods. So even though Turtle Rock is a pendant, we are going to need that fire rod, which means we are going to have to climb the mountain to get to Castle Tower, like you were saying, Captain. I did appreciate the double take too on Coxla's side. Like, oh, that's a rod. I might not. Oh, wait. I need to see if I need that rod.
Yeah, it could have easily been the ice rod, but nah, not that lucky. Alright.
Yep, and Trey pointing out in chat, not a bootsless seed, so we are going to get those boots as well. At least not behind Skullwood's boss.
Hey, Coxla doing the level. You turn there and remember, hey, I can get back and escape now.
I mean, half magic's not bad, but we know where the fire rod is, which is one of your primary uses of magic, so...
And we find an ether medallion on Sora Ledge. We have 501 rupees, so yeah, let's see what Sora's gonna have for us today.
Yep, and Mike does have that flute, so it might not be a bad idea to get that activated and go check the mire area to see if you're gonna still need to hunt some medallions, or if that's the one you need. So we'll definitely see what Mike decides to do here after doing, if we were talking about sort of that full light world loop and getting his map check out of the way too.
Just some very expensive bombs on Sora. That's unfortunate.
Yep, and Coxla doing a nice job getting through the Dark Cross from the back there, but only gets rewarded with 5 rupees. Mike, meanwhile, walking out of the Zora area might be really, just going all in on these Light World checks. Probably going to go to Saha here and maybe dip into Eastern. With it being a pendant, you don't have to clear it. So we'll definitely see what Mike's plan is.
We got that early mushroom there, so we're gonna turn that in. We're gonna find a single rupee. Woohoo! He doubled his rupee account. His.
I mean, not a bad increase if you look at it like that.
Yeah.
Nope. Looks like Mike is avoiding that Eastern area for now.
There's a question in chat. What are today's cities? This is called Ambrosia. Let's give you a quick recap here of what Ambrosia is. It is inverted 7/7 Ganon. Defeat Ganon. Big keys are shuffled. Shared sword. And the GT Big Key is in GT somewhere. And all dungeon bosses will have a non-dungeon item drop. So, not a key or a compass or a map.
Mike, buddy, that's not going to work how you... Oh, actually, fairly clever, just using it to get to that other room just a little bit faster. Very, very cool use of the mirror there. Part of me thought Mike was trying to get out of escape, but just wanted to save a few seconds. Nice.
Save the frames, right?
absolutely. It's always fun. Our team didn't quite make the playoffs. Shout out to the Thievestown division there. But just watching all these matches, learning everyone's little time saves, things that you may not have thought about. It's really fun. It's been a great league to watch and be a part of for sure this year. So shout outs to the admins for running an awesome league.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun this year. Our team just missed out as well, going 0-14. So we were close. Uh,
Hey, as long as you had fun, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
there's Coxla getting Tempered Sword over there, and of course Mike grabbing another bottle out of and dropping the bees off with the priest and Zelda there. Not too happy about it. So Mike doing those doing the woods check here. Might remember to activate that flute. Might be going up the mountain. Well, it's technically, as long as you don't rescue Old Man, mountains in logic with that flute and mirror. So we'll see what Mike decides to do.
Yeah, Coxla not scouting the lumberjack pledge there, not having that knowledge of the fire. So, see if that comes into play later.
Yep, there you go, homemade beer. There's your scout.
There it is.
So yeah, both runners now know. Well, sweet. Mike really trying to see what rod it was without going down the steps.
Okay, we get a Smith check here. Usually you like to grab them in the light world so you can just mirror back. Because they remove the bushes around the Smith so you can mirror right there. So, but gonna grab them, come up here to the portal, then take them back.
Yep, and Mike, able to access this, gonna go ahead and grab this item up on Bumper Lead.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was really hoping that was the Thievestown Big, just so we could go 3 for 3 on Big Keys dependence.
Well, it's already an ag seed. Why not make it a pet seed as well? Uh,
Yep, and Coxla first one to activate that flute, but it looks like Mike not far behind here.
you see, Mike is gonna take out his mirror and mirror on the spot to grab the Smith and mirror right back out.
Yep, just net $10 from the Smiths. And of course, we don't have the hammer, can't check the pegs. Don't have Samaria on Coxless' side, so can't fake powder. Mike already turned in the mushroom, so can't fake powder twice.
So what do? You go up the mountain.
Yep, another super fun part of Inverted. Hey, I hope you like that half walking speed with the old man, because you got to take him on an even further journey, all the way up Death Mountain, through the portal, and then break his legs jumping off the cliff and coming back down. Yep, but Coxla's showing off. If you have something above your head, it actually slightly improves the old man's walking pace. So, really smart to grab that bush there. Actually, going to save a few seconds when it's all said and done here.
Look here at the mire area here on Mike's side. Yeah, ether. We have ether. Um,
Hey, I'm all for that.
Not sure if he's gonna go in just yet though. Did find the red mail though.
Yep, got the red mail.
Oh,
Yeah, don't
oh
really have.
God. Where you going, old man?
Always fun to see. So both runners up on the mountain here at the same time. Mike has been a little more thorough in the light world, but really all he has to show for that thoroughness at the moment is that ether medallion and of course the Fisher Price shield. Um, but that ether medallion, as we know, is gonna be important.
And we did find a Mickey here in Spectacle Rock. Good, pick it up. Chances are we probably gonna need it. Get in there, Cynthia saw Mickey. And
Hera. One that may or may not be necessary thanks to. Oh no! Coxla going for the bomb jump, but of course that X axis being the really picky axis there, got to be right on it when the Y. And when you're right, the Y axis has some good slop, but missing it and taking the fall.
yeah, with the ambrosia rules here, if you find an item that's not in the big chest, you know the second item's gonna be at the boss. So, probably didn't really need that big key. We'll see.
So knowing what we know, Captain, pretty sure something has to be over here. We don't have too much left to check. I mean, we could do a really, really gross loop and do first chest in swamp or first chest in pod. But again, those are pretty gross. And then we have Saha and Eastern. So pretty sure something's on the mountain.
Yeah, there's a couple big keys anyway.
Yep, more keys. Skullwoods and pot or desert. Yep. Zen, they could take the ladder in the dark world and then mirror, or excuse me, the no, you're right. You're right. I apologize. But Mike deciding to go into Laser Bridge here, I like it. Not the Mounties and Adalor, correct. Thank you, Oro. Big shout outs to Oro on tracking for us today. Obviously keeping us up to date on things. As there's that book, which is hard required to get into desert, so Mike's gonna have to remember to do that here. And yay, we have our third pendant big key. So all the fun action over here on Death Mountain as we have Coxla grabbing that last big key and the book out of Hookshot Cave, going through Spiral. No, changing his mind.
Gonna check the big chest of the Turtle Rock here.
Yep. Yeah, having any sort of cross keys knowledge really helps with Turtle Rock in inverted, just because you know what chests you can and can't get to from these weird entrances that if you don't play something like retro or cross keys, it's going to be a little trickier to pick up on. So Coxla looking like he's gonna go at least to Chomps here. So really interesting. Gonna kind of bet on Pendant Turtle Rock. Dodge those Chomps, buddy. There we go. And looks like Mike's doing the same thing. Wow, Coxla's gonna. Oh, Crystal Roller. Yep. For a hot second, I thought he might have forgotten that he needs Cane to get all the way to Laser Bridge, but just gonna check Crystal Roller check. Just 20 bucks as we see on Mike's side though, so nothing doing there. The dream of an empty pendant TR. All right, so now it is. Oh, oh no, Mike. Homemade beer, I don't believe so. I know we saw the map on Laser Bridge, and of course there is a guaranteed item on Trinex, so that puts, well, that might put more keys in the front. So I'm not entirely sure. Thank you, Kirby. Right as it shows up on Coxla's side. Yep, map and compass. Thank you very much. As Mike's going to go ahead and take that book to Desert. I like this. You go up the mountain, the only real progression you find is that book. Let's use it.
Yeah, we'll see if we need boots here. Obviously can't complete it without a fire source. We know where one's at, but be interested to see if the other one may be in here or not.
Yep, and we'll sing that tune all day. We know one of the items is on Land Molus, so really hoping the other item isn't bootlocked here. Of course, though, with the big key out in the wild, potential of still 2 items here in the front of Desert Palace.
We find the small key there in the chest, so technically not boots locked, but the other item still could be on the torch. We'll see if we're gonna need that. Ooh,
Oh, hello, Bo.
okay. Well, now we have Eastern Palace open to us. Not fully in logic, but most of it is.
Chat really hoping for dark powder on the torch. So there is that second item on the torch. So boots will get us both powder and fire rod today. Yeah, chat really hoping for some dark egg shenanigans here, so we'll see who's comfortable enough to do that. Dark Aga, not too bad with the fire rod, but obviously since we need to do Aga for the fire rod, not going to have that safety, so you really want to know where those pits are in those rooms.
And where is Mike going?
Mike, buddy, you might want a fire source.
He just remembered.
There we go. That's like getting to the end of Spike Cave and not having a glove. You just, oh!
Yeah.
However, Mike may be remembering that he can access Bombos tablet here, and it looks like Coxla going to show us pretty much at the same time.
Just Bob's at the bomb post tablet.
Zen, you might want to call a team meeting for that. All right, so where are we going?
Like, Coxla is thinking possibly flipper check.
Yep, really smart to utilize that. Obviously, a light world portal there to get to those flipper checks nice and easily. So yeah, Mike could be thinking about something to do with that bow. Zen and Scottish pulling no punches here with Mike's silly plays. I love it. Sorry, Mike, you need a hammer to get there. So, unfortunately, Mike only going to be able to check one item here if it's not a key. Of course, has the bow though, so can go to Bollock's side. I'm just talking silliness at this point, so I apologize. But Coxla about to get royally ripped off from the scam fish, but is going to see that ether on Zora Ledge and be relieved that the one medallion they need is going to be right there in the open.
On our first look into Bod here.
I was really waiting for hammer in first chest there, just to be rude.
Oh, big key to Meyer.
Meyer, we will need that, so that's nice to find. Homemade beer, I'll agree with you. So far, it has been, just a pretty nice seed. Even, getting those mitts early and having everything open to us. Yeah, Mike checked most of the light world, but It's really starting to say, all right, you know where you need to go, so just go there. I mean, the rude part is the fire rod and us not having boots or lamp, but we'll get over that.
Looks like Coxla is going to take that ether medallion right in the mire right away.
Fair enough. I mean,
Can't check too much without a fire source or the big key, but there's a couple in here.
yep, with it being inverted, I mean, it's very similar. You can just flute back to flute 6 spot and go into desert. But with it being, in Vrosia, probably should have done what people usually do, desert then mire with the mirror. You can still do that here and then just mirror right onto the mire medallion spot. So gonna waste just a few seconds having the flute back. Hopefully it won't take too long to get that bow out of desert for Coxla, but we will see. Mike, throw
Mike
the
threw
bomb
the.
to the left.
Yeah, he threw it up, he threw it right. That's okay, he got more right there. He's fine.
Yep, always nice to refill on bombs in pod. So we know we're not going to find boots here in the dark pod area because of where our fire sources are. Well, never mind. We could have that lamp available in Eastern, so it depends where that lamp is. Alright, Coxla taking a little bit of a beating from the spikes in that room as Mike heading into the dark maze here. Looking good so far. Let's see what the first chest has.
Oh my
Hammer
goodness.
in pod. All right.
Well, unfortunately for Coxla, not much materializing here in Myers. Just has
Yep.
one more check to do here. It's the map, so
Just
yeah.
the map. Yep. Mike, interestingly, not going into the eastern Saha area, but instead taking that hammer immediately to the south shore. Might be thinking, hey, I got everything I need to do swamp. Let's do swamp. I don't believe we have the big key, but all we're missing then is one check in the big chest. And yeah, Coxla not wanting to go into desert yet without, that fire source and without those boots. Unfortunately, going to be missing out on that bow for now. However, Invrosia still goes by, the current logic, so there are technically progressive bows, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe Invrosia changed that. But we've been watching so much SGL lately that it's, non-progressive bows is on the mind.
There's
Oh, hey,
boots.
cool, boots. First chest in swamp paying off. Who would have thought?
So yeah, not gonna find the other fire source here in Swamp as the hammer is locked by the lamp. So, but we got boots. We could really do Dark Agate Tower if we really wanted to. Um,
Yeah, that's an option at this point. That hammer opened up Hera for us. So we can go into Hera, do Hera right into Dark Aga, again, if you really wanted to. But yeah, Swamp is probably the big thing that hammer opens for us. A lot of checks here. Yeah, there are still a few rude locations where that lamp could be.
It required double dip a pod here. As we find the big key to pod here at Swamp, behind the hammer, of course.
Cool. So, I mean, depending on where that lamp is, it's a logical triple dip. No, because you can't get back here without the hammer anyway. So yeah, ignore me. Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Red came from Go Mode. Well, we need a lot of big keys still too. Maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, let's do a check here. We have desert. I think we have Hera. We have pod now. Don't necessarily need skull or ice. We have mire. Yeah,
Oh, okay, maybe.
We might be in good shape there for big keys. Again, depending on where that lamp is and the cane. But as Beer was saying, if we're cane from go mode, then we don't need to worry about where it is.
Nice fake flipper there from Coxla, even though he has flippers, so that's cool. Okay, we'll see where. So, yeah, Mike went straight to Vitreous. Not going to check the left side, knowing that that hammer is lamp locked. Not going to find much over on the left side of Swamp.
Yep, makes fairly quick work of Argus there for just $5. Meanwhile, Coxla giving us our first check of Saha here at 50 minutes. Right there, apparently, Oro. As Coxla pulls the big key to Swamp out of Saha's closet. I was about to say we haven't yet, but then, of course, it appears on stream.
So, yeah, we'll see if that's going to pay off later.
Yep, really the only thing that would put a nail in the coffin for Last Locationeers would be if the cane is there, because I really don't see Mike rushing back to Swamp just for that one check.
Both runners converge here in Eastern Palace. Oh, okay, Mike is going to head at the pod first.
Yep, has that big key, so just going to go ahead and clear out pod. I mean, oh, hey, look at that, lamp in Eastern.
Classic. Yep, now we're back at logic. Hooray.
Yep, not only that, but that's that, the lamp for Aga, so really just searching for that cane. All right. But yeah, StructuralMike gonna have to really show off some skill here in Dark Turtles. If those turtles get out of hand, it can get a little silly, but of course, red male, 11.5 hearts should be fine. So we will see.
Answering a question in chat, the fire rod is on the lumberjack ledge.
Yep, and Coxla saying, I will take that lamp as my prize and get the heck out of here. Accidentally mirror bonking on that front door of Pod, though. Gonna go grab Kiki and open that sucker up. Or flute out of here. All right.
Yep, he wants that fire rod. Oh, maybe not. He is going to desert.
Yep, only gonna miss out on that powder, but gonna grab that bow. So he does technically need that bow since it was one small key and the big key for the first two checks in Pod. So luckily not diving into Pod to see that and then come over here to desert. So really, really lucky to get that bow first. And I didn't even see, but Mike made it through turtles, no problem. Dashing through the door, here's Helma. Yeah, Trey. Right now, Coxla, not having this bow earlier is hurting just a smidge. Has to go into Pod to get the hammer, and then Swamp to get the boots. Although boots are in first chest of Swamp, but the big key to Pod is further beyond. So required double dip of at least one of them. As Mike finishes off Helma and gets Bombos as a reward. So could do ice now if he really wanted to.
Yeah, Mike opting not to go in the Eastern Palace. Gonna check out Saha first. I don't see him going back into Eastern for that lamp.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for Mike, it is that first check in Eastern if he does go back, but we'll see. Obviously, that Swamp Big Key might be playing with his mind a little bit, thinking, oh man, the one check in Swamp.
And there are two other items in left side swamp as well, as we did find the map and the compass. So we'll see if that's going to play in how this works out.
Yep, but looks like he is bailing on Eastern for now. Gonna go ahead and say, hey, I can clear a crystal, let's clear a crystal. Looks like he's heading towards ice. But Coxla, having that fire source prior to coming here to desert, gonna go ahead and clear out desert. All right. No cane unless it's in Pen Gators, so gonna have to pull out the IPBJ if Mike wants to get through swamp ice effectively here. Nice clear of Land Molus there, but only grabbing another shield. But that is Coxla's first dungeon completed, as well as first crystal. So on the board with a crystal there. Alrighty, Coxla, where are you headed next? Accidental medallion there on Mike's side. Gotta love it.
And
You
Mike
gotta Yep. It's always interesting to see how much Icebreaker has changed the meta of Ice Palace. That a lot of people are avoiding it now until they have that cane. Um, so just the muscle memory of running over here and doing IPBJ just almost isn't there for some runners anymore.
Oh, you got it first try, so that was nice.
Oh yeah, very nice. And Coxla heading into pod here, gonna get that hammer, and then I don't know. Do you at that point do you feel ahead, behind? I mean, I'm
It's
not sure how Coxla's gonna feel here.
yeah, yeah. As soon as he finds that hammer, he's gonna go in the swamp. He's gonna find the booze. He's gonna feel a little bit better. So, yeah, Ambrosia's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's still been doing things, so I wouldn't say. I'm not so sure I'd go so far as to say he would feel behind, but definitely a sort of an uneasy feeling.
Just picking up that big key for Meyer there. He's be another crystal that they can complete. What's
And classic Kane in Ice Palace. So
Well,
now Mike has that decision to make. If he's comfortable with Dark Aga, he can just fly through the rest of this seed. If he's not comfortable with Dark Aga, how long until he gets back to Eastern Palace?
oh,
I mean, honestly, Mike hasn't touched Meyer yet, so he might even be thinking Lamp and Meyer before the dark room, and then that's the other sort of tricky room to think about is Meyer dark room isn't exactly free. Couple of setups that make it easier. You can always throw the block from the bottom. You can back yourself against the left wall. I mean, there's a few ways to do it, but it's all going to depend on Mike's comfort level here.
yep, we'll see what Mike decides to do next year. Does he beeline him for Aga Tower, or does he continue looking for the lamp? Probably gonna go to Swap next, just to kind of look around, see.
Fluting to one. I think we're about to see. Well, see might not be the correct word, but I think we're about to have a Dark Aga climb. Yep, and there's that hammer on Coxless' side. So, like you were saying, Captain, probably thinking, all right, well, let's go do Swamp. Gonna get that pod big key, kind of laugh at the seed, say, really?
Ooh, it is Mike going to turn rock here? Nope.
Yep, just needs it for the portal in
Oh,
order
okay.
to do Dark, or in order to do Aga.
Right. Yeah. The approach is weird. I don't. I don't see it. Check the ether tablet. Nope. Just gonna do Hera, then
Yep.
Aga
Could
after.
could do, but he knows it's nothing. The only thing it could be that would help him is the lamp. But knowing where the hammer is, he knows it can't be lamp. So
Very nice, clean Hera pot there.
yeah, chat talking about it too. As long as he remembers that that hammer was lamp locked, I don't think he's going to be looking for that lamp here in a hammer locked spot.
Yep, and he is just blitzing through these dungeons. Probably gonna see him do the Dark Aga climb here as Coxla is right behind him and getting dead rocked.
Yeah, I think Coxla is chasing that hammer in. So this to me might be he feels slightly behind. Gonna do hammer checks, not necessarily in the most dense order, just to hope that it pays off in a different way. But we know, of course, that the one hammer check he needs to make is Swamp. Yep, so enjoy the last look of Aga Tower for a few floors here as StructuralMike about to go into some dark rooms. So going to go ahead and shout out to the runners here. If you are enjoying the show, obviously these two teams are in the playoffs for a reason, putting on a heck of a race already. So please give them a follow, both Coxla and StructuralMike here. Twitch streams in the chat there. And I think Mike knows what the people don't want to see since it's dark, as we just get 3 bombs off the Ether tablet there. Thank you, Kirby Fan, as well. Shout out to my co-com, Captain 1977, Artyril, of course, helping us out with the restream, and Oro on tracking. Couldn't do it without all the volunteers here that help make these restreams happen. Yep, looks like Mike just taking a couple of falls here in one of the last rooms before he's going to be able to see again. Using those pots as good points of reference as to where the floor is / isn't. So we will see here. Just got to get through a little bit more and going to be fine.
Go. Hey, we can see again. Yay.
Huzzah! GG's to Mike for making it through Dark Aga there. Yeah, if you have some maps pulled up, it's not too terrible, but again, just make sure you know exactly where you are in those rooms. As we do see Coxla not knowing about that cane, of course, or those boots, checking a few more items here in Hera. We know it's not going to pay off, but just making sure to be thorough while he's up here. All right, Captain. How many anger balls do you think we're going to see from Aga here?
Let's stay a nice thick. Well, I don't know. It's not 6 is nice. Yeah, let's see 6. How many do you think?
6. Oh man, I'm gonna say 4. A little more than average, but still rude. I don't think Mike knows we just switched to his audio and he's spamming the book.
There's 2.
Yep. Two so far, as Coxla enjoying a nice little coffee break on the pegs and Hera there. Three, so it's Mike with the book, please. And just 10 arrows in the basement of Hera. So Coxla learning that that wasn't what the hammer was for. So we'll see what's up next, as Mike does take down Aga with three non-reflectable energy shots.
Run on over and get that fire rod. Put him officially into go mode, since he's not going to find the lamp.
Yep. Meanwhile, Coxla's still doing those sort of out-of-the-way hammer checks. Ran through Spike Cave here. Just unfortunately not the check that he needs to make here. And of course, that shovels might just push him off course. And at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 7-ish seconds, StructuralMike enters go mode. And Mike showing off another handy feature of inverted here. Doesn't have to go all the way through Skull Woods in order to get to the back here. Can just mirror. Gonna grab this key that you do need and then head right back to Mothula.
Yeah, it's just good game knowledge. You see on Coxla's side, there is saints in the Aga Tower. We just couldn't see them before. So,
Yep, Coxla just making his way here. This is the room that Mike had a little bit of trouble in, as you can see if you're not familiar with this room. Couple of thin platforms. Nothing Coxla can't handle, of course, with that lamp.
not behaving. There we go.
Yep, so now Mike just has to head over to the Mire Desert area, finish those two off pretty quickly, and then head up GT. Meanwhile, Coxla does have a little catching up to do, and as we know, after getting, can't get the fire rod yet because still doesn't have the boots, hopefully makes a beeline to Swamp Palace after this. Mirror just a little too north there, Mike. Getting that mirror bonk, of course. You know, when you have seasoned runners like this who've been racing all league season, you're so used to mirroring from light to dark, and you know the position to go from light to dark, but mirroring from dark to light can really throw off, or excuse me, other way around, mirroring from light to dark can throw off some of your positioning. pretty solid Mire 2 there from Mike. That last whiz rope just barely getting away from him. As Coxla sees the third unreflectable energy ball, we know that will be the last, and going to be able to take down Aghanim here.
And also the big key shuffle means you can just go right into Mire, heads right to Vitreous, so you don't have to look for anything. That's nice.
Yep, Tempered Sword, Half Magic, and Cape if you want to do those strats. Otherwise, the NMG strat, of course, is to just use Tempered Sword. Having that red mail really helps, so a lot of options for taking out Vitreous. But Coxla goes ahead, takes down Aga, but is going to check Uncle here. We haven't seen Uncle or the escape. So again, unfortunately, just going for those wrong checks, and Mike making quick work of the first dark room in Mire. Well done.
Yeah, really showing why they are in the playoffs here with that game knowledge.
Yep, absolutely. And Zen and Scottish, Mike's teammates, I don't know how many times Mike has been kicked off the team and then brought back on in this race alone, but it's been a few. It's been a few. But Coxla realizing not much in the Uncle part of escape, so where are you headed now, friend? As here we go, right into the Vitreous room.
Nice use of the cape there. Can take out the last couple eyeballs. 8 arrows to the big eyeball. Down goes Vitreous. Gets an extra heart for his trouble.
Yep, as Coxla finally heading into Swamp. Gonna go ahead, grab those boots and that pod big, and at this point probably think, oh man, all those hammer checks, and this is the one I didn't do. But we'll see. Obviously, this is still rando. Things can happen.
See if Mike decides to pick up that powder. He will be passing by it. He says no thank you.
Yep, just gonna go ahead and say, hey, this is playoffs. I need to just go. All right, Coxla finally boots in hand, on foot, in possession, however you want to say it. Gonna start sprinting through Swamp here. Might show us what's in that big chest that we didn't get to see on Mike's side. We know it won't be important. Just hope it doesn't bring Coxla further off track. Alright, probably going to see the Fire Rod strat on Mike's side. Coxla not able to do that strat, just with the equipment. But of course, the Tempter's Sword fight was still pretty decent. Butter Sword, why not? All right, and there is Mike's 7th crystal. So while we're not going to run any sort of game with Invrosia, we do know the big key to GT is up in the tower somewhere. So, GT routing can still come into play here with how Invrosia works. But hey, look at that. We killed Aga, so we can save and quit right here, which is a really sweet part of Invrosia. So Mike already in the tower here. Gonna go ahead and go left first. Just a small key on the torch. Sorry, Bob.
See if he does some kind of dark magician strat here.
Certainly feels that way with going straight left, but we will see. Maybe it's a full left play. Nope. Good call, Captain. Mike going for Dark Magician. So 7 checks for, 7 checks already down. Not gonna bank on tile room. So we're gonna head over to the compass room here.
I think that was an accidental medallion.
Yep. Probably trying to quick swap over and just one too few there, Mike. Garbage, junk, trash, and dirt in the compass room. So back we head to the left.
So you're saying nothing good? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, there was $40.
And Coxla is going to check the pyramid fairy here. Probably not going to find too much.
Yeah, and I mean we already know where the last 2 medallions are. Yep, more bonk strats. Mike, really nice boom strat there. Love to see that. Just another $20 in double firebar. So continuing on to rando room here after fire snakes.
Vanilla silvers. Hey.
Interesting. I mean, that'll save a little time on the Vidi fight. So if my Minnesota math is correct, I believe we have 14 through 17 here. $16 it is. Rando room paying out with the big key.
You didn't hear me, but I said 16, so I was right. So yeah. I did. Ooh, how about a little? You see, he's gonna go do Skull Woods here, I think.
Yep, gonna go ahead and grab that fire rod.
Fire rod. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So as far as I can tell, no one said 16. Dapper Worm Man was just off at 15. But looks like Adalor was closest by Price is Right rules without going over at 18. So GG's to both of you for getting it close. Yep, Mike taking no chances, just gonna go ahead, sort of abuse half magic here on the climb, and just gonna go to town. Of course, you know, Coxla does have the offensive advantage with gold and silvers, but at this point, it's gonna take quite a bit for Mike to fall behind to that offensive advantage.
And here, okay, he's gonna go do Skull Woods. He might even do a pet check. We'll see.
Very possible. Yeah, oh, just missing a fire rod shot there, so having to resort to some slash strats and just taking that blue goo, saying, you know what, let's just refill now and keep going up the tower. Doesn't have that lamp, so is going to have to rely on timing that fire rod for the last phase of Ganon getting torch glitch, or just really being comfortable with half magic and fire rodding both of those torches. So we'll see how Mike does here on the last bit of the climb and into Ganon. Just a couple of rooms left for Mike as Coxla does go into the moth fight here.
Yeah, Mike moved on to the Aga 2 fight, even though it just felt like we saw the Aga 1 fight. So,
Yep. Sorry, go ahead, Cap.
no, we're just gonna need the. Okay, gets a nice double to start. Nice double there. One more, and there we go.
Yeah, very nice recovery on that second double there by Mike, and now we have the big pig to fight.
Coxla in Ice Palace gonna find that Hey Samaria being go mode, but might be a little too late for that.
Yep, it's gonna have to take quite a few Ganon falls here to make that recovery. Unfortunately, again, not to say Coxla made any bad choices or played poorly. Both these runners played very great. Mike's route just worked out.
And in the case of Rando, it's whoever picks the right choice. Go ahead and come on top. But okay, we're already in the phase 3 here, so.
Yep, nice first try bomb jump on Coxla's side there as well. Mike gets the News of the Dark World. Really nice fire rod light there to get the torch glitch. So should have plenty of magic to get through here. Just a couple of spins here to take down Ganon. Oh, careful there, Mike.
There it is. Just has to cross that little bridge there. And as Coxla picks up the Cadus Maria, Structural Mike crosses the bridge, grabs the Triforce, get those GGs in chat for Structural Mike. Finishes with an official time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, 33 seconds. Very nicely played.
Very nice indeed. And shortly thereafter, Coxla, seeing the dot done in race time, GG is going to go ahead and throw a forfeit in the chat. GG to Coxla as well. Hard fought race. Well played to both of them. We'll try and get them into the interview here in just a moment. And we are now joined in the booth by our racers, Coxla and StructuralMike. GG's to both of you on that seat.
Thank you. GG's. That was quite the ending for me. I was sweating and got through it in the end, but it was rough.
Well,
Yeah.
if it was rough, you made it look easy because it was quite
Well,
the events there. So.
so the thing is that before the race I had cold hands, so I had a hot water bath for my gaming hands, and then I was like, oh no, my hands are dry now, so I moisturized them. And then the whole race I was like, my hands are too slippery for anything, and I
Oh
kept
no.
trying to wipe them off on my shirt while playing, and I'm glad it didn't show too much. But I was constantly like, oh, God, stupid moisturizer. Um, that was me. Yeah.
Yep. I saw a little bit of the chatter you two were having in the race room after the race, but I just want to check. We were talking about it a little in the booth, and I know Mike, you had mentioned it in the chat that you did that entire Light World loop and then went into Pod, got that hammer out of the dark. Coxla got the hammer a little bit later. What Coxla, what was your thought when you found that hammer? Because you were doing some of the more out of the way checks with it.
I was scared about Mike finding it really early. Like, he find his pearl, and why not? He would enter pod and then find armor super early. But apparently, it was not the scariest route.
That
But I
went
did
through my
not feel
mind
bad.
too. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I did feel bad a bit because I knew I had not a lot of checks remaining, but not that bad. Yeah, I did some backtracking and boots were late, but I did not feel super bad. And then when it timed, I was a bit surprised, but.
Yeah, I was surprised too, to be honest. Like that, like when I found that hammer, I was like, well, I can clear swamp. And I found boots in swamp, and at the same time, that hammer was out of logic for me because lamp is nowhere. Like I don't know what lamp is, and I might never find lamp. I'm gonna need a lamp someday, but I decided that well, I'm gonna do everything I can towards crystals behind hammer and just orphan left side swamp and awkward checks, and then go back in logic after I've done that. And just so happened to be that Sumari was an ice palace uh, during that, and I was like, oh, I'm in go mode now. Am I in go mode now? Like I had to triple check, like, am I missing a dungeon somewhere I didn't account for? But it seemed to be all right. So that worked out nicely.
Yeah, it was definitely a case of you hate going to Ice Palace without the cane, and then of course the cane is there.
Exactly. And I don't mind Kane in Ice Palace. Like, whatever. It's a crystal. Let's do it.
Yeah, same reason. I knew I had crystals to do, so I just went there, and well, maybe some area is there, so if it's there, that's good, and if it's not, too bad. But it was a
Yeah,
Sure.
crystal way to do it.
required double dip a pot to get the hammer, then to get swap to get the big key. So yeah, there wasn't a lot of trolling things going on in the sea. Maybe just that big key and pot and swap. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Uh, so who picked the Ambrosia setting here? Was that
And that was me.
that was you? Okay, is this something that you're used to playing? Is this something that I mean?
Yeah,
What was your thought
I'm
process?
quite fond of inverted, and I played Ambrosia a lot during the ladder when it was in the ladder, right? So, and I really enjoyed that mode. And back then, I wasn't very good at the game. This is a year ago, so I was not very fast, but I was very intrigued by the logic changes in Ambrosia or in inverted in general. And since then, I've been very like I've done some code things for the door randomizer, and I'm very aware of all the little changes that can happen in inverted, and I picked it consciously, thinking that most people are not as involved in knowing what inverted is about as I am. So this was a tactical decision in that way. Plus, I really enjoyed the mode, so it seems to have worked out in my favor this time.
So, Mike, as a follow up to you really knowing the mode, a question from your teammates in the chat, Zen and Scottish. Why did you check Desert Big Chest?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, I checked it and like, oh yeah, this is ambrosia. I lost count because I was thinking about the powder and how that was annoying. And then of course I tried to go up and kill ammo with that fire source, which is particularly funny because that happened just last night, and I did the exact same thing again.
Yeah, you got thrown out the team a couple times during this race by them. Uh, yeah, I mean everything worked out. You had a very nice time, and I would think it's a difficult mode, but like you said, you've had a lot of experience with it, so GG's to you, and very nicely done.
Thank you. And GG's to Coxla. It's good to have good race, and it is volatile, so um, it can go either way.
Yeah, GG's too. That's a really impressive time. I don't think I could have done something on this seed.
GG to both of you. So, do you have any final words about the race today?
Uh, how annoying is it to not have hammer in inverted?
Yeah.
That's what I thought about the whole race. So no, best of luck to the rest of your team and the remaining races this week, but not too much luck, of course, because we want to win. But it's gonna be
little
great fun.
at least to try retrain scope. That would be fun.
Yeah, if it comes to that, that's gonna be super fun.
And thank you for the restream.
Well, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and give a call here as we're gonna shout out the matches that are coming up later tonight. Coming up at 6:10 p.m. Eastern, we have Dark Side of the Triforce versus Oops All Foxes. That's Ceruvian versus Zeke. On right here on the Link to Pass Randomizer League channel. followed up by an hour later with Dante Beta's Jordan versus Kakariko Brooklyn. That's a casual boots matchup. Skeeter versus Lumberjack. Speed Gaming Prime. And then also at 7:10 p.m. we got Elf versus Zelda and Chill. We got Unabomber Testing versus Dirty Peels at a Link to the Past Randomizer Link 2 channel. And well, 7:10 seems to be a popular time because we got another one on Speed Gaming 2. We got Bottles Up Empty versus Missing Two Bows, Maniacal versus Tail. And then late night tonight, we got 12:10 a.m. in Rodney Trust versus Sword Beam Club. Is BSJ versus CJ. So plenty of more league action coming up.
Yep. Through one last shout out to the runners and of course the Restream crew here in chat. Thank you both for putting on a great race. It was fun to watch and comment on. Absolute blast there. So give the runners a follow. Like my co-com captain was saying, check out some more league action later today.
Yep. For everyone here, co-commentator Tavares, Checker Oro, Restreamer Artero, and the two brothers Coxla and StructuralMike. I'm Captain 977. Have a good day, everyone.